Hello, hey there. Carmen here, jumping in this week to talk about comprehensive exams versus what I call a free assessment or a complimentary assessment or a discovery assessment. So some people don't like to use the word free because they feel like it undervalues what they're doing. So whatever, you can use whatever words that you want, but the reason that we're going to talk about this is because a lot of you guys are struggling with filling your schedule, getting somebody on your books that is going to have a free assessment, let alone paying for an exam. I have done some coaching recently or some troubleshooting with people who are really struggling, trying to get their myofunctional therapy businesses going. And so I've been working with them, troubleshooting. You gotta have somebody on your schedule, obviously, for them to convert to being a paying customer. And that's the secret that you guys are all looking for, that I thankfully have found to be very easy. So that's why we're going to talk about that. So in my practice, that free assessment is 30 minutes. It's for people ages 3 and up. I used to allow parents to make appointments so we could talk about their 6-month-old or whatever. And basically that was just me giving myself a chance to help educate them, talk about the correct craniofacial development and all of those things for their kiddo. My schedule is so full now that I have limited, kind of pulled back on that. So it's when they go to schedule, it says, is this person age 3 or above? But I have providers all over the United States that refer people to me for their little ones, and I still give them a phone call and we talk about the process and, what's a good age or what's the concern with their kiddo. So when somebody does this free assessment, last year I started gathering more information at this free assessment for a couple reasons. And I think that's where you guys are really getting getting stressed. You're really struggling because you're trying to figure out your systems and how to implement these into your practice so that you can get started, so that you can start having revenue. So you can leave your hygiene job, all of those things that many of you guys are looking to do. So I used to just, do an appointment, a free 30-minute appointment with somebody. I never got any information from them. We would just chat, and then I would say, hey, yeah, it makes sense for you to move on to an exam. But when I got smart and really got granular about what information I needed, what was the whole point of having a free assessment, and also, you guys know I'm a big proponent of working with the right person. So at that time, I discovered, okay, during this free 30 minutes, I need to be interviewing them as much as they're interviewing me. I don't have spots for everybody. I don't have spots to do therapy with everybody. And so I want to make sure that I'm working with the right people that are right for me. So that's when I started thinking, okay, I got to get as much information as I can so that I can be doing this. And so I use what's called a discovery checklist. I've talked about this before. I'll talk about it more in the future, where they send me where they've got everything checked off. Okay. So I can see what they've got going on, what's happening. If I suspect a tongue tie, if they have digestive issues, if they have sleep issues, speech, so many things. So there's tons and tons of information from that discovery checklist. So they send that to me. And that really helps me figure out whether it makes sense for them to move on to a paid exam. Every single person that I meet, I tell them, hey, the reason we're doing this visit is so that we can meet and make sure that we're a personality match, but also to see if it makes sense for you to move on to a paid exam, because I never want to do an exam with somebody and then say, hey, you're fine, which has never happened. But I never want that to happen. So people really appreciate that when I tell them that I'm trying to prevent them paying for an exam that they don't need or that doesn't make sense to them. Okay. So that was really one of the biggest reasons, is to get that information so that I'm not theoretically talking about, well, if you have a tongue tie, or if this, or if that, it's nice for me to be able to see, hey, I'm talking about Johnny, and I can see that Johnny has all of these concerns, okay? So that really is why I made the change. So one of the questions that I get asked a lot is, why do you do a more extensive free visit in a shorter comprehensive exam? Because many of you guys starting out have asked for my help in dialing in your comprehensive exam and how to do a good job and be confident and also get the information that you need. So I use that information from the discovery checklist and I carry that forward to the comprehensive exam. Now, part of that reason is because I don't have the time in my schedule anymore, you guys, because I'm so busy that I don't have time to do 90-minute or 2-hour exams. I know some of you guys are, and that, when it comes to the bottom line, that can be really a burden when you start to get really busy. So when I had to do my brainstorming and say, okay, I need to do my exams in an hour, and how do I make that easier? So it made sense to gather more information from that discovery checklist, to use the discovery checklist and gather more information in that free assessment. Then the other thing is that it allows me to do also, you guys, is it allows me to build that know, like, and trust factor. If you have done any coaching with me, you know that this is huge. There's a reason that 6,000 pages on my website are viewed every month. There's a reason that my conversion from somebody meeting me to doing a free assessment with me to somebody who does, an exam and does therapy with me, there's a reason that there's that conversion, because people know, like, and trust me. And so some of that is built by me spending the time and the effort and doing a worthwhile free visit. Okay. Sometimes a lot of these clients are not the right person for me. So I refer them to somebody else who I think will be a better fit. But many of you do a free visit and all you want to do is say, hey, yeah, you need therapy. Yeah, you need therapy. Hire me. And it sounds like you're desperate, really. And so I think the more that you take the time to build that know, like, and trust factor, it really starts to snowball for you guys. And any of you guys who have been following me or familiar with me for a long time, you know that snowball just starts to get really, really big. Okay. And that's so exciting. It's so awesome. So really those are the biggest reasons why I do a shorter exam and a more involved free assessment. Because when I do an exam with somebody, like I have an exam this afternoon, so I've gotten all the pictures, I've gotten all the videos, I have a template for my report, and I take that information that I already know from their discovery checklist, and that's already typed into my report. So I already know their mouth resting posture. I already know how they're breathing. So in that hour that I do the comprehensive exam, I'm taking a deeper dive. I'm asking more questions. I'm having them demonstrate that they have patent nasal passages. I look at how they breathe, that kind of stuff. But you don't have to beat a dead horse. And that's the beautiful thing. If I see that they've got all these digestive symptoms, I don't really have to talk anymore about them. Generally, the conversation kind of involves everything and it kind of snowballs. But I literally will be going down my discovery checklist and I'll say, okay, so I already know about all of your digestive issues. I already know about your speech history. I always talk about sleep. I always talk about breathing. But again, I'm looking at this hour. I have 2 monitors here. And so when I'm working with somebody, like generally they'll be on one camera, and on my other monitor or on my other computer, I'm typing their report. So at the end of that hour, I've completed their exam. I've typed their report. I'm ready to hit send. I'm ready to send it to their doctor, ready to send it to them. I send their offer for therapy. It's all very, very, very streamlined. And I think that's where a lot of you guys are struggling and you get overwhelmed, is because you can't even figure out that beginning portion, okay? So don't worry about all of this stuff out here. Worry about what you have to do first. You've got to get a free assessment, okay? You've got to get somebody who's interested in learning about your services. Then you've got to get a comprehensive exam. That means if you're charging $250 for an exam, you're probably going to have a hard time filling your books with that. Versus I charge a very reasonable price for a comprehensive exam, and people get a very good quality report. They get a lot of time with me. I work really hard to build that know, like, and trust factor, but my schedule's full. I mean, it's nothing for me to have a week where I do 13 exams, 15 exams, okay? So that you got to look down the road. And one of the things that I teach in the Myo Mastery Program is you don't want to do a whole bunch of discounted therapy. You don't want, those aren't the best or even ever a good client. But sometimes you have to do something just to get that experience. Start getting people to allow you to practice your shtick, to allow you to practice educating and having those conversations and to know what your process is. So knowing what you're going to need from a free assessment and being able to streamline that and implement that system so you do the same thing every single time. My process is the same. Every single time, there's no surprises. I always know when somebody is prepared for their appointment or when they're not, okay? And I think that really is going to wrap it up. Really, the bottom line is I did not have the time to spend 90 minutes to 2 hours. And I know some of you guys are doing 2-hour exams, and that's crazy. I know you have to start somewhere, but please know you have to get a little bit faster and better so that when your schedule is really, really full, you've got a place to put people. So that gives you the answer on why I'm doing more of an extensive free visit versus a longer comprehensive exam. I have met therapists recently that are doing a 15-minute powwow. I don't know how that can be useful at all, but that's just me. That's just my opinion. People love that I spend time with them. I educate them. I help them understand what's going on. We talk about their goals for therapy. People want to feel important. And I really have seen that come home in my business as far as the conversion rates. Because when people make an appointment for an exam with me, I have people pay for therapy before they're even off the call from the exam with me. So they're committed. They know me, they like me, they trust me, they already have evaluated their options. So it's a great it's a great thing that works for me. So I hope that helps. If you have questions about my discovery checklist, any other questions that I didn't answer, you know where to find me, and I will be back next week and we'll talk about something else. See you then.